Basic Math Chapter 8, Section 9, Dividing Mixed Numbers by Mixed Numbers. You can divide mixed numbers by another mixed numbers. For example, divide 6½ by 5 7/9. First step, Step 1, change the mixed numbers to improper fractions for both. So 2 times 6 plus 1 becomes 13 over the original denominator, that's 2. 9 times 5 is 45. 45 plus 7 is 52 over the original denominator of 9. So now both mixed numbers are improper fractions. Step 2, change the sign to multiplication. Step 3, invert the second fraction. Do not change the first fraction. So instead of 52 over 9, it's 9 over 52. Step 4, multiply. Simplify the quotient if possible. Cross-canceling helps. So they cross-canceled. 13 divided by 13 is 1, and 13 goes into 52 4 times. Now 1 times 9 is 9, 2 times 4 is 8. This improper fraction should be simplified by dividing the number on top by the number on bottom. You can fit 1 whole 8 with 1 left over out of 8. So the quotient of 6½ divided by 5 7/9 is 1 1/8. This will need some space as well. (17). So we have 2 1/4 divided by 3 over 8. So to turn 2 1/4 into an improper fraction, we would multiply 4 times 2 plus 1, which gives us 9. So 2 1/4 can be written as an improper fraction of 9 over 4. Change the division sign to multiplication and invert 3/8 to 8 over 3. Cross cancel. 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2, 9 divided by 3 is 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and the answer is 3 times 2 is 6 over 1 equals 6. Number 19. So 5 1/10 to turn into an improper fraction would be 10 times 5 plus 1. So that would be 51 over 10. Now 7/10 is what's doing the dividing. So let's change the division sign to multiplication. Invert 7/10 to 10 over 7. Cross cancel. 10 divided by 10 is 1. And 7 doesn't go into 51 evenly. So now we multiply. 51 times 1 is 51. And now we can divide. If you don't know in their head, you can make the division box. The number on top, 51, goes in the shop. 7 does the dividing. 7 sevens is 49, with remainder of 2 out of 7. So this is 7 with 2 sevens. Alright, so this one is practicing both dividing and multiplying. So remember to look at the sign to make sure you do the correct operation. So we'll just slide this over so we have a little more room to write, and we can practice with a few. So for 24, we have 4/5 divided by 2. Well, change the division sign to multiplication, and 2 would be 2 over 1, so invert that to 1 over 2. Cross cancel, and we get 2 over 5. 28 is already multiplication, so we don't have to invert anything or change any signs, but we can see if there's any cross canceling. No, there is not. So we multiply. 3 times 6 is 18. 5 times 7 is 35. And that's it. 32 is division, so we can rewrite 5/6 times 3 over 2, and now we can cross cancel. Divide 3 by 3 is 1, divide 6 by 3 is 2, multiply 5 times 1 is 5, and 2 times 2 is 4. Then we can turn the improper fraction into a mixed number. 1 whole 4 can fit into 5 with 1 left over out of 4. All right, one more. So let's multiply 8 times 3 is 24, plus 3 is 27, over 8. And we're dividing by another mixed number. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Then you keep the original denominator, in this case is 4. The first fraction stays the same. The division sign becomes multiplication. The second fraction invert. So the 4 goes on top, the 5 goes on bottom. We can cross cancel, divide both of those by 4. 4 goes into 8 2 times, 4 goes into 4 1 time. We can't divide 5 into 27 evenly, so now we just multiply and get 27 times 1 is 27. 2 times 5 is 10. That's an improper fraction. We can fit 2 whole tens into 27 with 7 out of 10 remaining. Everyday problem solving. Jenna's regular pay is $12 per hour at her job. She usually works 40 hours a week. Some weeks, she may work overtime. Overtime is any time more than 40 hours. For overtime, she's paid 1.5 times her regular pay. The time card shows her hours for 3 weeks. So 1. How much is Jenna paid for 1 hour of overtime? Multiply her regular pay by 1.5. So her regular pay is $12 per hour. So that's what we're multiplying by 1.5. So 12 we can turn into an improper fraction times 1.5. So now that becomes 12, and turn 1.5 into an improper fraction. So 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3 over 2. We can cross cancel. 2 goes into 12 6 times, 2 goes into 2 1 time. 6 times 3 is 18 over 1 equals 18 per hour. So now we know how much her overtime pay is for 1 hour. How many hours of overtime did Jenna work during week 1? Subtract 40 from the hours worked. So she worked 45 hours. Take 40 away, and you get 5 hours of overtime. How much was she paid for overtime during week 1? Multiply the overtime pay for 1 hour by the overtime hours. So she gets paid $18 per hour for 5 hours. So she got $90 in overtime. And see if you can find out how much was Jenna paid for the overtime in week 2. For more practice, look in your workbook for Chapter 8, Section 9. Thank you.